We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Our final segment with Scotland Hazley, founder of the Animal Rescue Corps. They do a lot of great things to help animals, not just here in Tennessee, but across the country. He's not based here. He's based, actually, he's out in the Northeast. But his book, Compassion in Action, and yeah, we were looking through some of the chapters on here, and I'm about a third of the way through the book. But you've shared a few of your stories, which I'm sure pop up in the book. What is it you hope people take away from the book most, or your focus on it? What do you want to talk about?
A friend of mine came to me. He's been a friend for quite some time, and he's a great writer. And he said, "Scotland, I'd be honored if you gave me the opportunity to work with you in writing your book." And I'd been wanting to write a book for a while. I knew I needed to write a book. I have too many stories not to write a book. Stories that are intended to inspire. And so he came to me and he said, what kind of book do you want to write? And I said, I want to write a book of inspiration. I want to just tell my story and hope to change the lives of others.
Right.
And he said, okay. And that's what we did. And it was a great honor. It wasn't the easiest thing to do. You'll see in the book, I didn't have the greatest of education. In fact, I didn't even really learn how to completely read and write until I was...
Well, that's why you had a ghostwriter to help you, right?
Well,
well, not a ghostwriter. His name's on there, Richard Folkers.
His name's on there, Rich Folkers, great guy, lives in the D.C. area as well. But no, I think that I've become a good writer. I write a lot of blogs, so I've become a good writer throughout the years. But I've never even thought of writing a book, and I'm quite pleased with how it came out. And the feedback's been great. Yep. People are telling me that it's doing its job, which is to inspire change.
No, it's a good read, and it's available in most bookstores right now. And the key for this, I hope people read it, and then, look, I was not always into animals. And like I said, my wife kind of, has always had a real soft spot for me. I've never hurt animals, but I wasn't someone who took a role in it. Now my Facebook page, if you go to NC5_Nick Barris, a lot of times I'm profiling stuff with you. And of course, thanks to ARC, we've got our dog Mashed Tater, the three-legged wonder dog. She's still plugging along. You guys pulled her out, and she was near death.
She was Midnight Run, was she not?
I think so. Yeah, was that the one? Well, it was Manchester.
Yeah, Midnight Run.
The Manchester one.
That was one of the roughest.
Oh sure. Yeah, you've talked about some of the. Well, anyway, let's take a call from Tony. Hi, Tony.
Hey, good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Nick, I want to ask you guys now. I called in from a friend of mine, neighbor, had two dogs starving to death. They were skin and bone. Yeah. So every time I'd go over there, I'd take a lot of food, scrap of feed them. The dog was starting to look up to me. And finally it got so bad that I had to call the pound anonymous so that they went and picked the dogs up. I don't understand how these people done got some more dogs now. The pound is not communicating with codes, and codes is not communicating with pound, because these dogs they was near death. They shouldn't be allowed to have no more dogs.
I'm with you. Tony, you are a good man, and I wish more people did what you did. He became involved and saved it, but that's the frustration. They can go get more dogs, I mean, some of the legal considerations, the Manchester case, I talked to the prosecuting attorney there, and one of the criteria they were going to do in a deal with the woman who was involved with that puppy mill was that you can never own dogs again or pets again. But that has to go through a court and a legal process. Tony gets these two dogs rescued, and they're back getting more dogs, and it's going to be the same thing all over again.
Well, let me touch on both. But first, let me touch on Tony. Tony, if you're still listening, please go ahead and send us an email at reportscruelty@animalrescuecorps.org. I know that's a lot. It's reportcruelty@animalrescuecorps.org. And we will provide you any guidance or assistance to put an end to the suffering on that property. And that's what we're all about, is putting an end to the suffering on that property. Okay. Nick, when we do these cases, I don't care, I don't really care what happens to the people. I don't care whether they spend 3 years in prison or not.
You just want to get the animals out. They can maybe go on with their life,
whatever. I want the animals saved, and I want no more cruelty ever at their hands again. So what I always ask for is a court order that they can no longer harbor, possess, or keep, or care for animals ever again. That is my primary objective.
Okay.
What the court does in terms of jail time, that's up to the courts. That's not of my interest. Tony also said he didn't understand these people. Well, I don't understand them either. I stopped trying to understand it. My energy is far better spent in saving lives than trying to figure out why people do this.
Yeah. You're amazingly calm too. I mean, the frustration, Tony feels it, I feel it. You see these people, you see these animals suffering, you go in and you run into these individuals. I don't know how you don't take a swing at them. And I know you would never do that. But the anger that you must have, especially when they're being adversarial, and sometimes they are when you go out there.
Yes,
but you know that's the wrong thing to do. You're always professional, and you just let the legal process deal with it.
Yeah, I'd be lying to you if I said it wasn't difficult to hold back your emotions. Sure, it's
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, emotions.
It's absolutely difficult to hold back the emotions, but we have to. We're a professional, legitimate organization.
Yep.
People, abusers would like to see us fail. I don't want to give them anything in that direction. So, yes, I have very professional volunteers and team members that come out in the scene. We have a briefing before. We make it very clear what we're about to see is not going to be easy, but we can go fall apart in our hotel rooms later tonight. Right now we've got a task.
Right. And you've saved thousands and thousands of animals over the years. As we wrap things up, the best way people maybe watching now can get involved, one, is to buy the book, because you said the proceeds, much of the proceeds from this book are going to ARC, correct?
Yes.
You can buy the book. You can go to the website again. You talked about the reports. The general website. You just Google ARC and Animal Rescue Corps. It'll come up.
You can buy the book at animalrescuecorps.org.
Okay, good.
We have some at the emergency shelter in Lebanon. If you'd like to come by there, I'd happily sign a book.
Okay. Oh, that's very cool. And donations. You take cash donations. Did you take donations of puppy pads or animal cages?
Always need puppy pads, Nick.
Yeah.
Always.
Last time I was out there, you had a bunch of SpongeBob SquarePants puppy pads donated from someone.
We're constantly caring for animals, and we clean their cages constantly. Their care is our #1 priority. So. Always need blankets and towels. Gently used blankets and towels, puppy pads. Those are our primary requests. Financial contributions, obviously, are always needed.
Okay, and volunteers sometimes, the ones who can help. And there's a lot of work to be done in these shelters in terms of caring for them, nursing them back, cleaning. Let's face it, it's a little bit of a mess, and you just kind of toss a lot of that stuff, obviously, after it gets soiled.
It becomes disposable.
Yeah, disposable.
Another great need is, at any time, we usually have 20 to 40 volunteers in our emergency shelters, if not more, depending on how many animals we have to care for. The best method there is 1 person per every 10 animals.
Okay.
That's kind of how we look at it. But we need to feed these folks. So we're always looking for local restaurants to contribute food for the volunteers as well.
Okay, and also at some point you may need to find additional locations for temporary shelters, correct? You have someone wonderful who has donated space to you in Lebanon, and things change, and you may have to find others as well, right?
Jeff and Shelley Peterson of Novamet have been absolutely wonderful.
People.
They have the old Toshiba plant building in Lebanon. They've contributed a portion of that space to us for our rescue work for the past few years. It's been a great relationship. But yes, there's always a need for more. Prior to having them donate that space, we were using the Tennessee State Fairgrounds, until we were no longer to use that because the cost was out of reach for us.
Maybe that can come back around.
That would be wonderful. That was one of the best places we ever had, was Tennessee State Fairgrounds.
Great location as well.
Because not only could we easily house dogs and cats there, we could easily house equine or other farmed animals.
Yeah, that's what we need to remind people, because you may deal mostly in dogs and cats, but I mean, you've taken in birds. You've had monkeys, I think, at some point, right?
Quite a few monkey cases.
Horses, donkeys, snakes?
Any animal.
Well, that's the thing. Any animal, he will take steps to protect them. Listen, again, the book is Compassion in Action, Scotland Hazley. It's just an interesting book on the rescue of animals by an organization that does it like none other. And I wish there were more out there like you, but you're doing a great job.
Very kind and compassionate words. Thank you, Nick.
Hey,
thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. It's good. I know we'll see you again.
It's always good to be here.
Take a break. Programming note about tomorrow right after this. Stay with us, everyone.